Good evening and welcome to the 2023 MICCA Concert Festival. Our next group in the evaluation is the King Philip Regional High School Concert Band under the direction of Michael Keogh and Josh Walla. Your program today includes Amparito Roca from Jaime Texador, arranged by Winter, Pageant by Vincent Pescachetti, and variations on a Korean folk song, John Bard's Chants. As a reminder, and a courtesy to the performers, please turn off all cell phones and other noise-making devices and refrain from texting during the performance. Also, please be aware that the judges are in the back of the hall making taped comments for the benefit of the students and their teachers. This is a normal part of the adjudication process, so you may hear them, but they are doing what they're supposed to be doing. After the performance, the ensemble will participate in a clinic with one of the adjudicators. This clinic is an important part of the festival experience, as students will receive valuable lessons and feedback from the adjudicator in person. This year, MICCA will not host official award ceremonies. Directors will collect their materials from the site host before they leave today. We congratulate all the students and their directors on their participation in this year's festival. Also, be aware that your hand stamp and program booklet will allow you admission to any of the 8 MICCA performance sites this weekend. Please save your program booklet and be prepared to show the stamp to access the other sites. So now, please join me in welcoming Michael Keogh and Josh Walla and the King Philip Regional High School Concert Band.
Would you welcome Dr. Brian Messier of Dartmouth College?
Let's see what this Ferrari can do. Ready? From the top. I'll try it. Get your body down.
The students are particular about how much time it takes.
The seat strap, you know, different chair. Oh, your chair. You know where it is. So, what I heard out there was bar one felt a little unstable, and then the trombones were like, we know the tempo. Like, we know how this goes, yeah? Now, maybe you want it a little slower than I do, but we need to agree. Real rhythm, real pulse, real separation, uniform separation between the eighth note and the 2 16th notes that follow in the trumpet. Yeah? If that's your tempo, that's where we'll go. That, right, what is that? Bar 11 is a great example of really all you need. This group plays incredibly well. You're very well rehearsed. You've performed very well. You know what you're doing. You know what you want to do. But I still feel like you're not playing as individual musicians taking risks. I know you can play a real piano in bar 11. It's on your page. I've heard you play pianos. Take a risk failure, and give me a real moment there. Does that make sense? From the top, like, you don't need me. You don't even need Mr. Keogh anymore. Take risks. Go for the gesture. Better. You took a risk. It wasn't quite as clean, right? And then coming out, it wasn't quite as clean. But you got the idea, yeah? Can we move forward to that lovely percussion interjection at 98? We don't need to do that whole thing. What I really want to get to is the same idea. Can we maybe 8 before 130? So that's what, 122? We could do that, yeah, right on 122. And this is where you're kind of starting to creep back in, right, woodwinds? Ready? 1, 2, ready. So, from the hall, low brass, we're getting a lot of tongue and lip, not a ton of tone. So we need more air in these right off the bat in those pickups. Woodwinds, as you're sneaking back in from the percussion, it needs to be, you can't forecast the low brass. It still has to set up the transition, the contrast at measure 130. Can I just hear low brass at 130 with the pickups? Can you try, go for the gesture? Fatter sounds, fatter with air. Ready? 1, 2. So that, I'm getting more lip. Oh, think darker sound, Ready? 1, 2. And then lightning fast slides to get through those 16 notes. Can we go back to 122 now? Putting that in context. I think it's just being in the back of the stage in the hall. We have trouble getting the character of sound from the low brass out into the seats. I can hear the notes. It doesn't have the weight and the depth in the body that we'd love to have. 120, less woodwinds. I want to know you're there, but I don't want to notice you. Ready? 120, 122. 1, 2, ready. taking risks, being individual musicians, and pushing this as far, like, you get to make the choices now because you know the context. Push yourself to go just a little bit further and be individual artists. Yeah? Can we go to pageant, please? Oh, sorry. This is the one where in the second half, I really need you to trust the gesture a little bit more. We're losing a little bit of time because we're not separating notes. We're letting notes bleed together. If you play with a little bit of separation, it'll heighten the gesture, and that's where you create clarity and direction. When you connect notes, ta da 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 versus ta 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 ta, which one gives more of a sense of direction? Which one makes it feel like the move, even though I didn't change tempo, which one makes it feel like the music is moving forward, that you're on the front of the beat? Thank you. Yes, the second one, right? That's what we need in the second half of pattern. Because we're pulling back a little bit. There are a couple little hitches where, like, the low brass is like, we slowed down a little bit. We're going to try and push the tempo back a little bit, right? You remember that happening at one point? Right, so we're going to see if we can avoid that. But let's start at the beginning. I've never seen the horn soloist stand up before at the beginning of this. It was lovely. Very nice job. And it really going to set. It took me out of it for a moment. I was like, how do I feel about the horn standing up there at the beginning? It's like really set the tone for it and set up the theme, which is really lovely. So kudos.
It was all Finney's idea.
All well, then kudos to you. So, can we take it? We'll take it from the horn solo. You can stand or not. It's up to you. We have a long way to go, both within this phrase and within this piece. So how intensely can you play? How intense can you use your air to maintain that soft, dry, like the inevitability of the sound of this music? Does that make sense? We start right at measure 11. Measure 11. Don't be in a hurry. Be in time, but don't be in a hurry dynamically or rhythmically. How can you come in less flutes? But still with vibrato, so warming it up. And let the contour of the line do most of the work for you. And make sure you're playing through the notes. Yeah? And then really listen to each other. Ready? Once more. And then we're going to move to the second half. Maybe I'll let you play for a little while. Ready? weird things to your pitch, and right? But where does the music need to be? You don't get to play louder than what's written because that's what's comfortable. Or louder than what the music needs because that's what's comfortable. You're ready. Challenge yourselves to meet the music where the music needs to be. If that means you need to figure out how to play that E natural in tune at that dynamic flutes, then you have to figure out how to play that E natural in tune at that dynamic. Yeah? And it's harder to stay together because you're not playing as loud and as comfortably. But you're ready for that, to really take this to even the next level from what was already a wonderful performance. Okay? If we go to the second half. The fast. Ready for percussion? Percussion. What was the clarinet flute tempo relative to your tempo?
Slower.
Significantly slower, because you're playing too long. Da 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 digga da da digga da digga dee dee is exactly what you play. If you connect notes, you can't do that. So instead of, it has to be. Yeah? Sizzle that for me, flutes and clarinets. 1, 2, ready, and. Add fingers, so you're just going to sizzle and finger, but not play. 1, 2, ready, and go. Play it, please. 1, 2, ready, and. From the beginning of the fast section, 2, ready, and. Now, you're not going to do them any favors percussion if you rush, especially if we crunch the eights. Right? What'll help is play the eighth notes as slowly as you can in tempo. So now brass, we didn't get to you, but the same thing. All of these lilting figures need to be more gestural. Dia, dia. Later on, flutes, dia, dia. All that can be more aggressive within your beautiful sounds, right? But don't fall in love with your sound. Dia, 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 dia. Be right in time and cut the second note just a little bit shorter so that we keep propelling, creating that space to propel the music forward. Even if, again, we're not rushing, we're just making it sound deep, da, deep, as opposed to da, 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 deep, da, deep. Same tempo, very different feel. And it's going to keep the momentum moving forward. Once more, without percussion rushing from fast. I have no idea how much time we have.
I think we're done at like, well, we started a little late, yeah?
Okay.
So I'll give you like, another, I don't know, another 5 or 6 minutes.
Cool, okay. I have no ballpark
Yeah.
figure. Okay, 5 or 6 minutes. All right, we'll get to the third game. Right. Brass, we're late and slow. We're taking too long on the first note. And maybe this is faster than you go. Doesn't matter. The idea is that we lost time in the fast section. We tried to regain it a few times, but the main reason we're losing time is because we're connecting notes. Even if we don't lose time, it sounds like we do. Because this is not legato lyrical music. So the rule of thumb here is if the notes aren't slurred, they don't get to touch. Does that make sense? Separate everything. Let's jump to somewhere else. There's the spot I was talking about. Oh, big picture, we'll talk about this a little bit in Korean folk song if we have time, is brass, especially trumpet, playing through notes, right, on those sustains. We had a tendency, and I know it's an endurance challenge, to play through this program and make it through the end of Korean folk song, but really using air all the way through notes, then separate. Our tendency is to use a lot of tongue, decay, touch the next note, then use tongue and decay. What that sounds like is, what I would like to hear is, hear the difference? Use more air through your notes, brass, especially trumpet, but also trombone. Horns, if anything, we push a little past our sound at times. And our sound corrupts a little bit. Did you catch that? Trust your sound, use air, but don't push past what you can do with your sound. Because you don't need to. You never needed to. At no point when we got a little bit past that did I feel like, oh, we needed that. It's like it was perfect, and we went just a little too far. Does it make sense? Make sense? Okay. Flutes. Where's that be-up stuff I was talking about before? 80? 180? No.
Just
80?
Just
Okay. Sure, that'll work. We're right there. No, that's not. Okay, whatever. Let's just keep going from. We need to go to Korean folk song. You get what needs to happen here. Keep the pulse. The pulse is going to maintain by separation and having that forward drive. But percussion, you know that it slows down immediately after the fast, right? Is that pretty typical? Does that happen a lot? But don't crunch the eights and they'll have an easier time. Okay, let's go to Korean folk song. I haven't done any of these pieces in years. It's so much fun. This is a great program. Yeah. Like they're all pieces I've done, but it's been a lot. It's like old friends coming back, you know. Clarinet. Beginning was gorgeous. Gorgeous. And because you're so good, you could be even less. I've never had to ask the clarinet section to like play less at the beginning of this. But it's in that like shallow mode, like almost mysterioso. Yeah? We try it. One. And very delicate musical releases together, which is lovely. The intonation is great. Now we have to ping here, triangle, you have to breathe. Thank you. Bring it a little further, so that the clarinet follows your Don't rush. Cha, cha. Cha, cha. Clarinet, this is where you have to be shapeshifters and play with brass articulation, to play percussively. Ta, bell, 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 bell. Saxophones, we're getting too much reed, so we have to blend into the horn sounds a little bit, and we're rushing under slurs. That's the main thing I want to do at the beginning of this. Under slurs, so flutes and clarinets, 3 before 17. We tend to rush under the slurs. Make sure the rhythm stays in your fingers. Especially when other people are playing other things, that's where you really start to notice that our time is not clean under slurs. I would practice that by playing everything articulated. Then put it back under the slur. Make sense? Can we jump ahead? There was a very nice recovery at 48. Where the brass pushed the tempo, but woodwinds, you did a lovely job of keeping up with it, so congratulations. We don't need to do that. Let's do the larghetto. Everything decays unless you're the soloist. One, ready. And see if we can open the sound just a little bit more. You sound great. Clarinet is much better. In out there, we were getting swells through the notes. So it's becoming bum, ba, bing, ba, as opposed to bum, bum, bing, bum. much better here. Let everything decay so that it sustains mask. Separation and decays create transparency, and we're trying to create transparency at this point for our oboe solos, right? So we don't want to, you're very clearly a complement, right? We don't want to mask that. I'm sure I'm out of time, but let's see if I can sneak the ending in to get the brass. I could not hear the timpani articulation in that transition. The transition worked really well, so I'm assuming you all could hear the timpani at the transition.
If you have any tip, like just how to get that drum to
I mean,
speak,
I see a mute on the timpani. You can play a little closer to the middle of the drum. Will help you get a little bit drier, cleaner articulation, and then definitely using harder mallets. You want to try it for me? And don't put the mute in the middle, put the mute kind of on the opposite side of the head where you would play. That's closer. That feels different to you?
Yeah.
I don't know what it sounded like here before.
I had no idea how to make it
Yeah,
work.
because what you want, that ring of the timpani is what rings, what
Yeah.
vibrates, so that's what you want to do.
Okay.
And the middle shouldn't really be doing much vibrating anyway. And then just hard mallets. Yeah. Yeah, you can dampen it a little more if you need to. That's very clear to me here. I don't
Yeah.
know if that sounded different than what it sounded like out there. Out there we had trouble. I couldn't hear the articulation in the timpani. But the transition worked really well, and it's a hard transition coming out of the snare drum. I just want to do a little bit. Okay, let's do 223. Just to give brass an example of what we're talking about playing through the notes. Yeah, here we go. Immediately trumpets we played a decay. And it became ba da dee. What I want is da 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 da, which is hard, but if you use a ton of air, it shouldn't be any harder on your face. We try it, just brass please, at 223. Orchestral, like it's smaller. 1, ready. Same thing once you come in. Now put a little bit of separation before you change notes. Ta, da, 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 da. Especially first trombone. I couldn't hear first trombone with the first trumpet. Is that? I'm not sure where it is. A little more first trombone. Separation will help. Separation cuts through texture. Connection creates sonority. Ready? Once more, just brass, 223. 1, ready. Let's see how that feels with everybody. 223. 1. All the way to the end, which I don't think we have time to do. And then it's just controlling the pitch and controlling our tone and our faces to get right. But that's the climax. They're the color. All of the sound, but it's really about the brass chorale here at the end. More bombastic tuba entrance, right? More horn entrance. Brass, this is for you. And you have to carry us over the finish line. And if you decay, you become secondary to the color. And the color is supposed to be there to color you. Make sense? Cool. I think we have to probably stop. I'll keep going. This is fun.
You got James in the hallway, but nobody else.
We don't do ensemble, just have the groupies. Let's do, what, can we just go to the end?
Yeah.
240, 2, one before 241. Open the floors, tuba. Ready? This is 240. 1, ready. And a little bit more dramatic, but that's just you taking ownership. Because I'm sure you've worked on it. I'm sure you've asked them for more piano. I'm sure maybe not, but like, you know if you can do more piano. So take the risk. And like, don't take the risk. I get you don't always take the risk in performance, but you are ready to take ownership of your musicianship. Like, be individual musicians. Do not wait. He's a great musician. You have a great teacher. You're part of a great program. You're all very fortunate to be here and to be a part of this. But you don't have to wait anymore. You are all capable of playing what's on the page and making musical decisions beyond what one person can ask of you. So imagine what this group could do if you all took ownership over making all of those musical decisions and deciding for yourself, my piano wasn't good enough, my forte wasn't good enough, that gesture wasn't strong enough, that contrast wasn't contrasting enough. You'll learn music so much faster and get to the good stuff so much faster. Cool? It's a pleasure to work with you all. Thank you so much. Come to Dartmouth, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.